Hello and welcome back. I'm Lisa,
And I'm Erin.
and this is the Getaways Podcast. So I was talking to my sister last night, and I cannot believe that we are this far into the year. I mean, it's April pretty much,
I know, it's crazy. The sun's out.
and time is just flying by. I mean, we gotta get on summer.
I'm ready.
Yeah, we got to do some summer planning. But yeah, and then we've got some France trips already scheduled, but I feel like time is just flying by.
Well, we do have our first week in Italy for the summer at the beach planned, so we just got to figure out 2 more.
But 1 week is just, not enough.
There's a lot of vacation.
All right. So today, it's funny because last time when we had the question and answer, Denmark was the place that I said that I would want to live. And now we're good to talk about it today.
Yay, I love Denmark.
So we've been there, 3 times, right?
3 times, yes.
Yeah. So the first time we flew from Berlin, dogless,
Yes.
and just did Copenhagen.
Only Copenhagen for Halloween and my birthday.
Yeah. And we got to come back to that. But we stayed there twice. We stayed at a really nice hotel that was not expensive and had really big, we all stayed together. It was a big family room.
Yeah, we did.
But it's a decent hotel and really well placed. It's the Imperial.
Yes.
And right next to it, there is a big walking path around the water, which is lovely. And they do a really nice breakfast.
They do a good breakfast. They have a good restaurant downstairs.
Yeah.
We ate there a few times. It's very close. It's not right in the center. It's right across the river, which is nice. But it's very less than a 10-minute walk to get to the center.
Yeah, and not expensive.
No. The second time we stayed there, we had separate rooms.
Yes. And Rex.
Yes.
But anyway, let's get started. So we start with Copenhagen?
Let's start with Copenhagen. We've been to Copenhagen 3 times.
And okay, the first time, like you said, was your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of stuff that was really cool.
In 3 days.
In 3 days. Yeah. We had it pretty booked, I think. Okay. So we did the Tivoli Gardens.
Yes, which is an amusement park right in the center. And it is so cute and so fun. And it was Halloween and it was decorated.
So festive.
So festive. And we had the best time. We went during the day and night.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be magic at Christmas. We have not done that yet. But I think that's one of my favorite amusement parks because it's just so cute and it's small. It's good for all ages.
Not big roller coasters. It's not like Magic Mountain or
Six Flags.
But it's adorable.
I loved our canal boat ride.
The first time or the second time?
Well, I loved it both, but the first time it was new and cool, and it's, they take you through everywhere.
You see Christiana, you see the opera house, which is beautiful. You see the trash factory. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
It's where they burn trash, which powers all of Denmark, I think. And they've built it into this man-made mountain, and they have a ski slope that goes down it, and they've got parks on top of it. It's very cool. So they drive you through all that on the boat. It's freezing.
But they give you blankets and hot drinks, and it's super lovely and a fun way to see the city. But we also did something else. I think it was your birthday present. We did a little scavenger hunt. It was called 1,000 points or something. And it was all on our phones, but we did clues, and it sort of gave us this great overview of the whole city. And even the place in the park where there's trampolines in the ground. And that was a fun way to sort of see things in the city.
So we did that. We did Tivoli. We shopped because we were there a very short time the first time we were there. And then the second time we were there exclusively in Copenhagen, we stayed in that Airbnb, and which was near the beach.
Right.
It's 20 minutes into town?
Yeah.
And we did Tivoli again, and we shopped. Dylan and I went to the aquarium. So the aquarium's called Den Blah, I think, Planet, and it is so nice. And Dylan was probably 15, 16, and he still loved it. It was really, really well done. And then you and I went to the deer park.
Is that in Copenhagen?
Uh-huh. It was like a 20-minute drive from our house.
Okay. Which was super cool. Rex couldn't go there, but it was really nice. Sorry, I looked down. It's like amazing for dog walks. No, they weren't allowed.
Because there's deers everywhere and they are not scared.
Deer just run around everywhere, and there's just a million of them, and it's really lovely. We did a Segway tour, which Dylan actually hated because he hated driving the Segway.
He wasn't in very good control of a Segway.
No. But it was also kind of a cool way to see the city, if you like that sort of thing. I don't know that I would Segway again, but we saw like the Little Mermaid and the palace, and they took us through a good bit of the city. We got a really good sense of everything.
But my favorite part of the Segway tour was when we got done with the Segway tour, we found a really cute restaurant to have lunch at
Oh, uh-huh.
that was so cozy. Like, what's that word?
It's Hyggee.
And how do you think that's pronounced?
I say Hugie, but I'm sure that that's entirely wrong. Everything that I think is a Danish word, I hear somebody Danish say it, and I'm like, oh, I've never done that. I've never seen that. I've never been anywhere near that.
So what does it mean?
So it's everybody always says there's no exact translation into English, but it means cozy, like having a warm drink with friends, and it's under a blanket. Like it's a feeling more than it is a specific definition, but it's
It's a vibe. Um, we went into Christiana. It's a little area right outside of the center of Copenhagen, and it's like it's its own community. It's its own free little town. It's a free town, I guess. There's no police. The police don't get to handle things that happen in there. People live there. It's just like a hippie community.
yeah, there's no jurisdiction for the government. There's like graffiti everywhere and like little houses.
To buy little knickknacks and stuff at. I don't know.
It is also a vibe.
It's a vibe for sure. And then we went to a beach several times.
Yeah, several times. But in the city too, and the beaches are lovely. I don't mean to like overlook those, but they're really nice. And locals love to, swim in the morning and do their sort of cold dips. But New Haven is sort of like the area where I think everybody thinks of when they think of Copenhagen, which is all the colored buildings along the water, and it's super charming and super lovely. And there's really cute little cafes and restaurants. You can sit inside or outside. It's always cold, so there's always blankets and there's always heaters outside. But it's super cute, and that's where I had my first and only Irish coffee was there. Remember we were
that was
freezing?
so good.
Yeah, and that's Hyggee, whatever, however you say it, because it was like you were freezing. You come into a nice warm spot and have a warm drink, and it's all the vibe.
You know what else we had? Our first time in New Haven,
Huh.
and you've continued on the tradition every morning since, is smørrebrød.
That's what I can't say. That's what I
Smørrebrød.
That's what reminded me, is because we were on the canal tour, and the driver was like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, it's an open faced sandwich with usually like fish or cheese or something. And I'm like, oh, I eat that every day. But I thought it sounded a lot different than you said it.
Because the first time we went there, we had smørrebrød in New Haven, and Lisa was like intrigued with this bread because it is dense bread.
My sister would say that there are sticks and shoes in it because it's very seedy, and it's dense, but it's not hard at all. It's grainy. But no, it's definitely, if you go, you have to try it because it's like the best fish and on this bread, and it's hearty but still like on the you don't feel like weighty after you eat it, but they're the best, and you can get it for lunch or dinner or just like an aperitivo at a restaurant, like really everywhere.
Now, the Danish people love their schnapps.
Yes.
I think maybe all cold weather countries love their schnapps.
Yeah.
And they have this drink that we just randomly found, didn't we, at the grocery store? And we keep going back for more. It's called Rostov, and it's salty caramel. And is it the most delicious thing you've ever had?
It's delicious, yeah.
So good.
It's almost problematically delicious. Okay, so should we talk about the other food there, though?
Yes.
Okay, so the street food in Denmark is, I guess, sort of surprising. I mean, churros are a big thing on the street.
Churros are a huge thing.
Yeah, and hot dogs, and then the fish, like the way it is here, like the herrings and the cold water fish in sandwiches. And then the place that I think the locals go that's great for visitors to is the food hall
Tivoli Food Hall, yeah.
I mean,
We had lobster
we
rolls
had
last
lobster
time.
rolls, yeah, and we also had Mexican there. You can get to it from the street, but you can also enter it from the park itself, and they have loads of different kinds of foods and all different nationalities, and we never had anything bad there.
Food Hollands are a big thing up here,
Yeah,
like, because we have them in every city in the
yeah,
Netherlands.
but affordable, so to speak. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive just because of where it is and getting stuff, but you can go and everybody can get what they want, and it's just kind of a fun atmosphere. If you're going there with kids too, the playgrounds are like crazy extraordinary. There's a whole one park that's entirely like there's little cars you can drive around. It's like a whole little city built for kids to play in. There's not a lack of things for little kids to do too.
Yeah. So the second time we went, we stopped in Odense for a brief 2 nights.
Is that big house?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Odense was lovely.
Yeah. And they had well, first of all, we had an amazing house that had a thatched roof, a trampoline in the backyard. Like the house was great and not expensive.
Not expensive at all. Fireplace, huge living room, huge kitchen.
Lots and lots of nature all around. But we went to the zoo there.
The zoo is so cute.
It's really cute. And they have a good assortment of animals but still doable all in a couple hours and really nicely done.
We went to Fun and Village.
Hmm.
The one in Odense is like an outdoor, like the way they lived in like the 1700s. It was cute, and you got to go into little houses and see how they lived, and they had farm animals. We didn't take Rex with us when we went to
Yeah,
that.
no, he doesn't do well with farm animals, but definitely again something for all ages, like little kids and big kids, and are gonna enjoy it because there's plenty to see and walk around, and it's cool.
Yeah. And then we walked around. Well, we walked up and down the river with Rex a lot, which is really pretty. And then we explored a little bit of downtown, which is really cute. And we walked past the Hans Christian Andersen Museum, but we did not go in.
Right.
So we need to do that next time because I totally would go back to Odense.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
After Odense, we went to Tranekær.
I'm certain that's exactly how it's called.
And it's on this little peninsula that's so far away from everything, but I'm gonna tell you why we went there. Do you know why we went there?
Because we got a house for $16 a night.
We got a house for 16 euros a night, and it was the coolest house that we've ever stayed in. It was like black and white pictures of Paul Newman, Mick Jagger. It had like old vintage luggage. It was like decorated so it was just like a rock star's house.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And literally 16 euro a night. And then you had to pay for your linens. So I think that was like an extra 20 each or something.
Yeah.
In a really cute area where just across the street there was like a long, long trail that we walked every day. Really cute area.
We went to this castle called Eskov Castle, which we didn't go in because we took Rex with us.
Uh-huh.
But it was beautiful, and we did that maze.
Right.
There were peacocks everywhere, which Rex did not appreciate. There was a car museum. There was a huge playground.
Uh-huh.
And there was a Japanese garden.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. Really cool. And yeah, you didn't need to go in the castle because there was so much else to do.
So much to do. And it was like $6 to get in.
Yeah, nothing.
So that's all we did at that house. And then we headed up to the north to Aarhus. Aarhus. I don't know how to say that. How do you say that?
Aarhus. You say it fast and nobody will notice.
Yes. Which we did some good stuff there.
We did some good stuff there. Favorite?
Oh, the Scandinavian Animal Park.
Yeah, like hands down the coolest animal place I've ever been in my life.
It's a reserve for polar bears. A sanctuary. Right? It was a sanctuary.
Yeah.
But not just polar bears.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a moose that had to have been like days old if like walking along with his mom was the cutest thing I've ever seen. The polar bears were incredible and we could see them swimming and eating and everything, but my very, very favorite was the bears. First of all, the park is set up so that the walkways and the observation decks are very unobtrusive to the animal's space. So you're either up above or kind of around the perimeter and up so that you can still see without being on their space. These bears were running around, playing with each other, wrestling, swimming. I mean, having like the greatest time. I could have watched them forever.
Yeah, we did. We watched them for at least a half an hour.
Yeah.
And then we also went to an amusement park a little north of our house called Yours Summerland, where you fell in love with this little kid who was wearing rain gear but standing under a fountain?
Oh, I wanted his outfit. It was a little toddler, and he looked so warm. I was so jealous.
He was playing in a fountain with, like, full-on winter gear. It was the cutest thing. Our house also has, something like what we did in Odense, but it's called Den Gamel By, and it's like what it was like to live there in the 1700s, but it was more like a town.
Yeah, like, there were buildings and shops, and, like, you could go in and see, into the bakery and see, like, what they were making back then, and, very much touristy, but also kinda cool just to see what life was like then.
Then we walked by, we didn't go in, but there's this thing called the Aarhus Art Museum, and at the top is a full round room where it's all rainbow glass and you walk around it. We didn't do that. But what we did do,
It does look cool at night.
it does. We went to twice, I think. There's this thing called Mosgard Museum. We did not go in the museum, but we went hiking there several times, walking through the woods down to the beach.
The beaches are really lovely all around Denmark, like, I highly recommend checking them out if possible.
Yeah. And we didn't eat out much in this town. We ate at home. We had an Airbnb that wasn't our favorite.
No, not at all.
And so then on our way home, we stopped in Nordberg for one night and we stayed at like this really cheap hotel, which was fine.
I don't remember this at all.
You don't? We stayed at this cheap hotel. We went to that science park, that outdoor science park is
Oh,
called
yeah.
Universe Science Park,
Uh-huh.
where they had all the cool like wind room, rain room,
Yeah.
fire room. They had all this VR stuff. Dylan built a rocket.
Yeah.
And we stayed at this hotel and we did that big hike down by the river and there were all those like rock men that were built.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, like, there's so much cool stuff for kids in Denmark. Like, I wanna be a Danish child because that place was cool, and there was stuff for all ages and all exploration. Dylan made me do this VR thing with him where I did a few things. One was a driving thing, and another one was he built or drew his own roller coaster for us, and then we got into the VR and we rode it.
She came out, she was blue.
Yeah, no, I was
Green, she
green.
was green.
It made me violently ill. But what a cool idea, right? I mean, that he could just change what way we were going and then go backwards and do all of this stuff, and then we got to pretend like we were on it and see it, on the VR. It's pretty cool.
I do think Denmark was built for young children.
Yeah.
And one thing that took me back in Denmark, and it's just it just took my breath away, is that people will leave their strollers with their babies just outside their doors and go in and do the laundry and have lunch. Like, they just leave their kids outside of restaurants in their strollers. If they're at the science park, they'll leave it outside. They just leave their kids
Because it's safe.
because it's safe.
But I mean, it's just unbelievably mind-blowing coming from Los Angeles that where there's so much fear of keeping your kid within sight all the time that they just don't have that. I will say, though, in general, I guess particularly about Copenhagen, but I've never been a place that, like, I come from working in film and television, and that whole city to me feels like a backlot. Like, it's so pristine, clean, and beautiful, and everything. It's like a fairy tale. It's like
Yeah.
walking around in a fairy tale more than anywhere else I can think of.
Yeah, I agree. Your favorite moment?
The bears.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I'd say the Bears.
Yeah, I really, really loved the bears. But there's so much I love there, that, I could go on and on. But yeah, if I had to pick one thing, it'd be the bears.
But we'll be going back soon, so we'll put stuff up on the website, new stuff we discover when we're back there.
And I definitely want to be there at Christmas time one year because I think it would
Yes.
just be magic.
Yes.
So thanks for listening.
And check out the website, www.thegetawayswithaz.com.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.